Today's psalm that we have for our devotion is completely different. It's called a wedding psalm, a wedding song. Now, whose wedding that is, we don't know. Some people have said it might have been one of David's weddings. It might have been one of Solomon's many, many weddings. It might have been Hezekiah's wedding. We don't know. But what we do know in the Bible is when we have a picture of weddings, earthly weddings, they always point us ultimately to the perfect wedding, the greatest wedding. And that's for us as God's people, as believers, whatever our marital status, whether we're married or single, or whether we're widowed or divorced. We have this wonderful picture in the Bible that we, God's people, are married to Jesus Christ, the bridegroom. God's people, the church, we're described as his bride. And he's come to redeem us, to buy us back. And look at this description here in verse 11, where it says it's describing the bridegroom. The bridegroom, the king, is enthralled by your beauty. Now, I don't know about you, but when I stand before God and when I compare myself to him, I don't imagine myself certainly as beautiful. I feel incredibly ashamed and when standing there with his spotless brilliance. And yet that's not how I am to feel. Because Scripture teaches and reminds me that when I'm right with God, when I've been forgiven by him, when my trust has been in Jesus Christ, he has forgiven me all my sin. He has given me a robe of righteousness. Imagine going to a wedding and you are wearing the filthiest of clothes, and just as you're about to wander in, someone who's immaculately, spotlessly dressed says, "Hang on, you can't go in looking like that." And they take you aside and they take you back to some changing rooms and they say, "Hey, come on, let's swap clothes. I'll wear your filthy rags. You wear my spotless clothes." That's what the gospel, the cross, that's what Jesus has done for us. So much so that we appear spotless so that he can be enthralled with us. Look at this description in verse 13. All glorious are we the bride. That's how we appear to Jesus, because he's covered us in his righteousness. So whoever we are today, if we're God's people, let's remind ourselves of this, and let's be enthralled with him, our great bridegroom.